All right. Good morning. Hopefully today we have better luck with the stream. Yesterday I kept trying to cut off. We're reading Genesis 27 through 39 today. Like I said, every day I've been getting on here, just trying to show people how easy it is just to get on. And the Lord put on my heart to get on and just read the Word of God and just show people, like, spend 45 minutes to an hour, go through, knock out the whole Bible in 90 days. So today, like I said, I'm going to get on. I'm not going to waste a lot of time talking. I'm just going to get on and I'm going to read Genesis 27 through 39. So, Father God, I just come to you right now, Lord, and I pray that you just open the Word up to us today. Lord, I pray that your presence be poured out, Lord God. I thank you, Lord, that as we get into your word, Lord, that you'll reveal new things to us and deeper things to us, Lord. I thank you for your word, Lord. I thank you for your freedom to have access to it, to be able to get into it at any time, Lord. I just thank you and I honor you and I praise you in your name. Amen. All right. I'm reading New King James Version. I'm going to be reading Genesis 27 through 39. Now it came to pass, when Isaac was old and his eyes were so dim that he could not see, that he called Esau his older son and said to him, "My son." And he answered, "Here I am." Then he said, "Behold, now I am old, but I I'm old. I do not know the day of my death. Therefore, please take your weapons, your quiver, your bow, and go out to the field and hunt game for me, and make me savory food, such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, that my soul may bless you before I die." Now Rebekah was listening when Isaac spoke to Esau, his son, and Esau went to the field to hunt game and bring it. So Rebekah spoke to Jacob, her son, saying, Indeed, I heard your father speak to Esau, your brother, saying, Bring me game and make savory food for me, that I may eat it and bless you in the presence of the Lord before my death. Now, therefore, my son, obey my voice according to what I command you. Go now to the flock and bring me from there 2 choice kids of the goats, and I will make savory food from them for your father, such as he loves. Then you shall take it to your father, and that he may eat it and may bless you before his death. And Jacob said to Rebekah, his mother, Look, Esau, my brother, is a hairy man, and I am a smooth-skinned man. Perhaps my father will feel me, and I shall seem to be a deceiver to him, and I shall bring a curse on myself and not a blessing. But his mother said to him, Let your curse be on me, my son. Only obey my voice, and go get them for me. And he went and got them, and brought them to his mother, and his mother made savory food, such as his father loved. Then Rebekah took the choice clothes of her elder son, Esau, which were in the house, and put them on Jacob, her younger son. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats on his hands, on the smooth part of his neck. And she gave the savory food and the bread, which she prepared, into the hand of her son Jacob. So he went to his father and said, My father. He said, Here I am. Who are you, my son? Jacob said to his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done just as you told me. Please arise, sit and eat of my game, that your soul may bless me. Or that your soul may bless me, yeah. But Isaac said to his son, How is it that you found it so quickly, my son? And he replied, Because the Lord your God brought it to me. Isaac said to Jacob, Please come near me that I may feel you, my son, whether you are really my son, Esau, or not. So Jacob went near to Isaac, his father, and he felt him and said, The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he did not recognize him, because his hands were hairy like his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. Then he said, Are you really my son Esau? He said, I am. He said, Bring near to me, and I will eat my son's game, so that my soul may bless you. So he brought it near to him, and he ate. And he brought him wine, and he ate, drank. Then his father Isaac said to him, "Come near now and kiss me, my son." And he came near and kissed him. And he smelled the smell of his clothing, and blessed him, and said, "Surely the smell of my son is like the smell of a field, which the Lord has blessed. Therefore may God give you of the dew of heaven, of the fatness of the earth, and the plenty of the grain and wine. Let people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be master over your brethren, and let your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be those who bless you." Now it happened, as soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and Jacob had scarcely gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. He also had made savory food, and brought it to his father. And his father said, "Let my father arise and eat of his son's game, that your soul may bless me." And his father Isaac said to him, "Who are you?" So he said, "I am your son, your firstborn, Esau." Then Isaac trembled exceedingly and said, "Who? Where is the one who hunted the game and brought it to me? I ate all of it before you came, and I have blessed him, and indeed he shall be blessed." When Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with an exceedingly great and bitter cry, and he said to his father, bless me also, O my father." But he said, "Your brother came with deceit and has taken away your blessing." And Esau said, Is he not rightly named Jacob? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright. Now look, he has taken away my blessing." And he said, "Have you not reserved a blessing for me?" Then Isaac answered and said to Esau, "Indeed, I have made him your master. All of his brethren I have given to him as servants. With grain and wine I have sustained him. What shall I do now for you, my son?" Pages are stuck. And Esau said to his father, "Have you only one blessing, my father? Bless me also, O my father." And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Then Isaac his father answered and said, "Behold, your dwelling shall be of the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. But your sword you shall, by your sword you shall live, and you shall serve your brother. And it shall come to pass, when you become restless, that you shall break his neck, he shall break his yoke from your neck." So Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with which his father had blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, "The day of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will kill my brother Jacob." And the words of Esau, her older son, were told to Rebekah. So she sent and called Jacob to her younger son and said to him, "Surely your brother Esau comforts himself concerning you by intending to kill you. Now, therefore, my son, obey my voice. Arise, flee to my brother Laban in Haran, and stay with him a few days until your brother's fury turns away, until your brother's anger turns away from you, and he forgets what you have done to him. Then I will send and bring you from there. Why should I be bereaved also of you both in one day?" And Rebekah said to Isaac, "I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob takes a wife of the daughters of Heth, like these who are the daughters of the land, what good will my life be to me?" Then Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him. He said, "You shall not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Padan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and take yourself a wife from there of the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. May God Almighty bless you and make you fruitful and multiply you, that you be an assembly of peoples, and give you the blessing of Abraham to you, your descendants, and your descendants to you and your descendants with you, that you may inherit the land in which you are a stranger, which God gave to Abraham." So Isaac sent Jacob away, and he went to Padan Aram, to Laban the son of Bethuel the Syrian, the brother of Rebekah, the mother of Jacob and Esau. Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him away to Padan Aram to take himself a wife from there, and that as he blessed him, he gave him charge, saying, "You shall not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan." And Jacob had obeyed his father and his mother and had gone to put on Haran. Also Esau saw that the daughters of Canaan did not please his father Isaac. So Esau went to Ishmael and took Mahalath, the daughters of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nehobajoth, to be his wife in addition to the wives he had. Now Jacob went out from Beersheba and went towards Haran. So he came to a certain place and stayed there all night because the sun had set. And he took one of the stones of the place that he had put in his head and lay it down in a place to sleep. Then he dreamed and beheld a ladder was set up on the earth, and in its top reached to heaven. And there the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. And behold, the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord God of Abraham your father, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie I will give to you and your descendants. Also, your descendants shall be as the dust of the earth. You shall spread abroad to the west and the east and to the north and the south, and in you and in your seed all the families of the earth shall be blessed. Behold, I am with you. I will keep you wherever you go, and will bring you back to this land. For I will not leave you until I have done what I have spoken to you. Then Jacob awoke from his sleep and said, Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. And he was afraid and said, How awesome is this place! This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. Then Jacob rose early in the morning and took the stone that he had put up as a pillar and poured oil on top of it. And he called the name of that place Bethuel, or Bethel. But the name of that city had been Luz previously. Then Jacob made a vow, saying, If God will be with me and keep me in this way that I am going, and give me bread to eat and clothing to put on, so that I come back to my father's house in peace, then the Lord shall be my God, and this stone which I have set as a pillar shall be God's house. And of all that you give me, I will surely give you a tenth. So Jacob went on his journey and came to the land of the people of the east. And he looked and saw a well in the field. Behold, there were 3 flocks of sheep laying by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks. A large stone was on top of the well's mouth. Now all the flocks would gather there, and they would roll the stone from the well's mouth, water the sheep, and put the stone back in its place on the well's mouth. And Jacob said to them, My brethren, where are you from? And they said, We are from Haran. Then he said to them, Do you know Laban, the son of Nahor? And they said, We know him. And he said to them, Is he well? And they said, He is well. And look, his daughter Rachel is coming with the sheep. Then he said, Look, it is still high day, and it is not time for the cattle to be gathered together. Water the sheep and go and feed them. But they said, We cannot until all the flocks are gathered together, and they have rolled the stone from the well's mouth. Then we water the sheep. While he was still speaking with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she was a shepherdess. And it came to pass, when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. Then Jacob kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice and wept. And Jacob told Rachel that he was his father's relative and that he was Rebekah's son. So she ran and told her father. Then it came to pass, when Laban heard the report about Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him and embraced him and kissed him and brought him to the house. So he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, Surely you are my bone and my flesh. And he stayed with him for a month. Then Laban said to Jacob, Because you are my relative, should you therefore serve me for nothing? Tell me, what should your wages be? Now Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah's eyes were delicate, but Rachel was beautiful of form and appearance. Now Jacob loved Rachel, so he said, I will serve you 7 years for Rachel, your younger daughter. And Laban said, Is it better that I give her to you it is better that I give her to you than I should give her to another man. Stay with me. So Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and it seemed only a few days to him because of the love he had for her. Then Jacob said to Laban, "Give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, and that I may go into her." And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. Now it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah his daughter and brought her to Jacob, and he went into her. And Laban gave his maid Zilpah to his daughter Leah as a maid. So it came to pass in the morning that, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, "What is this you have done to me? Was it not for Rachel that I served you? Why then have you deceived me?" And Laban said, "It must not be done so in our country, to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give you this one also for a service, for the service which you will serve me with me another 7 years." Then Jacob did so and fulfilled her week. And so he gave him his daughter Rachel also. And Laban gave his maid Bilhah to the daughter of Rachel as a maid. Then Jacob also went into Rachel, and he loved Rachel more than Leah. And he served with Laban still another 7 years. Then the Lord saw Leah was unloved. He opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. So Leah conceived and bore a son, and she called his name Reuben, for she said, "The Lord has surely looked on my affliction. Now, therefore, my husband will love me." Then she conceived again and bore a son, and said, "Because the Lord has heard that I am unloved, he has therefore given me this son also." And she called him Simeon. She conceived again and bore a son, and said, "Now this time my husband will become attached to me, because I have borne him 3 sons." Therefore she called his name Levi. And she conceived again and bore a son, and said, "Now I will praise the Lord." Therefore she called his name Judah. Then she stopped bearing. Now when Rachel saw that she bore Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said to Jacob, "Give me children, or else I die." And Jacob's anger was aroused against Rachel, and he said, "Am I in the place of God, who has withheld from you the fruit of the womb?" So she said, "Here is my maid Bilhah. Go into her, and she will bear a child on my knees, and that I also may have children by her." She gave him Bilhah for her maid as a wife. And Jacob went into her, and Bilhah conceived and bore Jacob a son. And then Rachel said, God has judged my case, and he has also heard my voice, and given me a son." Therefore she called his name Dan. And Rachel's maid Bilhah conceived again, and bore Jacob a second son. And then Rachel said, "With great wrestlings I have wrestled with my sister, and indeed I have prevailed." So she called his name Naphtali. When Leah saw that they had stopped bearing, she took Zilpah, her maid, and gave her to Jacob as a wife. And Leah's maid Zilpah bore Jacob a son. And Leah said, "A troop comes." So she called his name Gad. And Leah's maid Zilpah bore Jacob a second son. Then Leah said, "I am happy, for the daughters will call me blessed." So she called his name Asher. Now Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest, and found mandrakes in the field, and brought them to his mother Leah. Then Rachel said to Leah, "Please give me some of your son's mandrakes." But she said to her, Is it a small matter that you have taken away my husband? Would you take away my son's mandrakes also?" And Rachel said, "Therefore he will lie with you tonight for your son's mandrakes." When Jacob came out of the field in the evening, Leah went out to him and said, "You must come in to me, for I have surely hired you with my son's mandrakes." And he lay with her that night. And God listened to Leah, and she conceived and bore Jacob a fifth son. And Leah said, "God has given me my wages, because I have given my maid to my husband." So she called his name Issachar. Then Leah conceived again and bore Jacob a sixth son. And Leah said, "God has endowed me with a good endowment. Now my husband will dwell with me, because I have bore him 6 sons." So she called him Zebulun. Afterwards she bore a daughter, and called her name Dinah. Then God remembered Rachel, and listened to her, and opened her womb. And she conceived and bore a son, and said, "God has taken away my reproach." So she called his name Joseph, and said, "The Lord shall add on to me another son." And it came to pass, when Rachel had borne Joseph, that Jacob said to Laban, "Send me away, that I may go to my own place and my own country. Give me my wives and my children, from whom I have served you, and let me go, for you know that my service which I have done for you." And Laban said to him, "Please stay, if I have found favor in your eyes, for I have learned by experience that the Lord has blessed me for your sake." Then he said, "Name your wages, and I'll give it." So Jacob said to him, You know that I have served you, and how your livestock has been with me. For what you had before I came was little, and has increased to a great amount. The Lord has blessed you since my coming. And now when shall I provide for my own house? When shall I also provide for my own house? So he said, What shall I give you? And Jacob said, You shall not give me anything. If you will do this thing for me, I will again feed and keep your flocks. Let me pass through all the flocks today, removing all the speckled and spotted sheep, all the brown ones among the lambs, and the spotted and speckled among the goats. These shall be my wages. So my righteousness will be an so my righteousness will be an answer for me in time to come. When the subject of my wages comes before you, every one that is not speckled and spotted among the goats and brown among the lambs will be considered stolen if it is with me. And Laban said, Oh, that it were according to your word. So he removed that day the male goats that were speckled and spotted, and the female goats that were speckled and spotted, and every one that had some white in it, and all the brown ones among the lambs, and gave them in the hand of his sons. Then he put 3 days' journey between himself, Jacob, and between himself and Jacob. And Jacob fed the rest of Laban's flocks. Now Jacob took for himself rods of green poplar, and of the almond and chestnut trees, peeled white strips in them, and exposed the white which was in the rods. And the rods which he had peeled, he set before the flocks in the gutters and the watering troughs, and the flocks came to drink. So they should conceive when they came to drink. When the flocks conceived before the rods, the flocks brought forth streaked, speckled, and spotted. Then Jacob separated the lambs and made the flocks face toward the streak, and all the brown in the flock of Laban. But he put his own flocks by themselves, and did not put them in with Laban's flocks. And it came to pass, whenever the stronger livestock conceived, Jacob placed the rods before the eyes of the livestock in the gutters, and they might conceive among the rods. When the flocks were feeble, he did not put them in. So the feebler were Laban's, and the stronger Jacob's. Thus the man became exceedingly prosperous, and had a large flock of female and male servants, and camels and donkeys. Now, when Jacob heard the words of Laban's son, saying, Jacob has taken away all that was our father's, and from what was our father's he has acquired all his wealth. Jacob saw the countenance of Laban, and indeed it was not favorable toward him, as before. Then the Lord said to Jacob, Return to the land of your fathers and to your family, and I will be with you. So Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field, to his flock, and said to them, I see your father's countenance, that it is not favorable toward me, as before, but the God of my father has been with me, and you know that with all of my might I have served your father. Yet your father has deceived me and changed my wages 10 times, but God did not allow him to hurt me. Or if he said thus, the speckled shall be your wages, then all the flocks bore speckled. If he said thus, the streaked shall be your wages, then all the flock bore streaked. So God has taken away the livestock of your father and given them to me. And it happened at the time when the flocks conceived, that I lifted my eyes and saw in a dream, and behold, the rams which leaped upon the flocks were streaked, speckled, and gray spotted. Then the angel of God spoke to me in a dream, saying, Jacob. And I said, Here I am. He said, Lift your eyes now and see all the rams which leap on the flocks are streaked, speckled, and gray spotted, for I have seen all that Laban is doing to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed the pillar and where you made a vow to me. Now arise, get out of this land, and return to the land of your family. Then Rachel and Leah answered and said to him, Is there still a portion of our inheritance? Is there still any portion or inheritance for us in our father's house? Are we not considered strangers by him? For he has sold us, and also completely consumed our money. For all these riches which God has taken from our family are really ours and our children's. Now then, whatever God has said to you, do it. Then Jacob rose and set his sons and his wives on camels, and carried away all the livestock and all his possessions which he had gained, his acquired livestock, which he had gained at Padan Aram, to go to his father Isaac in the land of Canaan. Now Laban had gone to shear his sheep, and Rachel had stolen the household idols that were her father's. And Jacob stole away, unknown to Laban the Syrian, and that he did not tell him that he intended to flee. So he fled with all that he had. He arose and crossed the river and headed toward the mountains of Gilead. And Laban was told on the third day that Jacob had fled. Then he took his brethren with him and pursued him for 7 days' journey and overtook him in the mountains of Gilead. But God had come to Laban the Syrian in a dream by night and said to him, "Be careful that you speak to Jacob neither good nor bad." So Laban overtook Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the mountains, and Laban with his brethren pitched in the mountains of Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob, "What have you done, that you have stolen away unknown to me and carried away my daughters like captives taken with a sword? Why did you flee away secretly and steal away from me and not tell me? For I might have sent you away with joy and songs with timbrel and harp. And you didn't allow me to kiss my sons and daughters. Now you have done foolishly, and now you have done foolishly in so doing. It is in my power to do you harm. But the God of your father spoke to me last night, saying, Be careful that you speak to Jacob neither good nor bad. And now you have surely gone because you are greatly longed for your father's house. But why did you steal my gods?" Then Jacob answered and said to Laban, "Because I was afraid, for I said, Perhaps you would take your daughters from me by force. With whomever you find your gods, do not let him live. In the presence of our brethren, identify what I have what I have of yours, and take it with you." For Jacob did not know that Rachel stole them. And Laban went into Jacob's tent, into Leah's tent, and into the two maids' tents. He didn't find them. Then he went into Leah's tent and entered in Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the household idols and put them in the camel's saddle and sat on them. And Laban searched all about the tent, but did not find them. And she said to her father, "Let it not displease my lord that I cannot rise before you, for the manner of woman is with me." And he searched, but did not find the household idols. Then Jacob was angry and rebuked Laban. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, "What is my trespass? What is my sin, that you have so hotly pursued me? Although you have searched all my things, what part of your household things have you found? Set it here before my brethren and your brethren, and that they may judge between us both. These 20 years I have been with you. Your ewes and your female goats have not miscarried. Their young I have not eaten, and the rams of your flock. With that which was torn by beast I did not bring to you. I bore the loss of it. You acquired it from my hand, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. There I was. And the day of the drought consumed me, and the frost by night, and my sleep departed from my eyes. Thus I have been in your house 20 years. I have served you 14 years for your daughters, and 6 years for your flock. And you have changed my wages 10 times. Unless the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac have been with me, surely now you have sent me away empty-handed. God has seen my affliction and labor of my hands, and rebuked you last night." And Laban answered and said to Jacob, "These daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and these flock is my flock. All you see is mine. But can I do this day to these my but what can I do this day to these my daughters, or to their children whom they have borne? Now therefore come, let us make a covenant, you and I. Let it be a witness between you and me." So Jacob took a stone and set it up as a pillar. Then Jacob said to his brethren, "Gather stones." And they took the stones and made a heap, and that they ate there on the heap. Laban called it Jegar Sahadutha, but Jacob called it Gilead. And Laban said, "This heap is a witness between you and me this day." Therefore, its name is called Gilead. Also Mizpah, because he said, "May the Lord watch between you and me when we are absent from one another. If you afflict my daughters, or if you take another wives beside my daughters also, although no man is with us, see, God is witness between you and me." Then Laban said to Jacob, "Here is the heap, and here is the pillar, which I have placed between you and me. This heap is a witness, and this pillar is a witness. And I will not pass beyond this heap to you, and you will not pass beyond this heap and this pillar to me for harm. The God of Abraham, the God of Nahor, and the God of their father judge between us." And Jacob swore by the fear of his father Isaac. Then Jacob offered a sacrifice on the mountain and called his brethren to eat bread. And they ate bread and stayed all night on the mountain. And early in the morning, Laban arose, he kissed his sons and daughters and blessed them. Then Laban departed and returned to his place. So Jacob went on his way, and the angels of God met him. When Jacob saw them, he said, "This is God's camp." And he called the name of the place Mahanaim. Then Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau, his brother, in the land of Seir, the country of Edom. And he commanded them, saying, "Speak thus to my lord Esau. Thus your servant Jacob says, I have dwelt with Laban and stayed there until now. I have oxen, donkeys, flocks, male and female servants, and I have sent to tell my lord that I may find favor in your sight." Then the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, "We came to your brother Esau, and he saw us. He also is coming to meet you, and 400 men are with them." So Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that were with him, and the flocks and the herds and the camels into two companies. He said, "If Esau comes to the one company and attacks it, then the other company which is left will escape." Then Jacob said, "O God of my father Abraham and God of my father Isaac, the Lord who said to me, 'Return to your country and to your family, and I will deal with you.' I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies and all the truth which you have shown your servant. For I crossed over this Jordan with my staff, and now I have become two companies. Deliver me, I pray, from the hand of my brother and from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he come and attack me and his mother and the mother with the children. For you said, I will surely treat you well and make your descendants as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered from the multitude." So he lodged there that same night and took what came to his hand as a present for Esau his brother: 200 female goats, 20 male goats, 200 ewes, and 20 rams, 30 milk cows, or 30 milk camels with their colts, 40 cows, 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys, and 10 fowls. Then he delivered them to the hand of his servants, every drove by itself, and said to his servants, "Pass over before me and put some distance between successive droves." And he commanded the first one, saying, "When Esau, my brother, meets you and asks you, saying, 'To whom do you belong, and where are you going?' Those are who are these in front of you. Then you shall say, 'They are your servant Jacob's. It is a present sent to my lord Esau. And behold, he is also behind us.' He had commanded the second, the third, and all who followed droves, saying, 'In this manner you shall speak to Esau when you find him. And also say, Behold, your servant Jacob is behind us. For he said, I will appease him with the present that goes before me, and after I will see his face. Perhaps he will accept me.' So the present went on over before him, but he himself lodged that night in the camp. He arose that night and took 2 wives and 2 female servants and his 11 sons, and crossed over the ford of Jabbok. He took them and sent them over the brook, and sent them over what he had. Then Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the breaking of day. Now when he saw that he did not prevail against him, he touched the socket of his hip, and the socket of Jacob's hip was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, 'Let me go, for the day breaks.' But he said, 'I will not let you go unless you bless me.' So he said to him, 'What is your name?' And he said, 'Jacob.' And he said, 'Your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have wrestled with God and with men and have prevailed.' Then Jacob asked, saying, 'Tell me your name, I pray.' And he said, 'Why is it that you ask about my name?' And he blessed him there. So Jacob called the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life was preserved. Just as he crossed over Peniel, and the sun rose on him, he limped on his hip. And therefore, to this day, the children of Israel do not eat the muscle that shrank, which is on the hip socket, because he touched the socket of Jacob's hip, the muscle that shrank. Now Jacob lifted his eyes and looked, and there Esau was coming with him were 400 men. So he divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and the two maidservants. And he put the maidservants and their children in front, Leah and her children behind, and Rachel and Joseph last. When he crossed over before them, he bowed himself to the ground 7 times until he came near his brother. But Esau ran to meet him, embraced him, and fell on his neck, and kissed him, and they wept. When he lifted his eyes and saw the women and children, he said, "Who are these with you?" So he said, "These children are the children whom God has graciously given your servant." Then the maidservants came near, and their children, and bowed down. And Leah also came near with her children, and they bowed down. Afterward, Joseph and Rachel came near, and they bowed down. Then Esau said, "What do you mean by all this company which I met?" He said, "These are to find favor in the sight of my Lord." But Esau said, "I have enough, my brother. Keep what you have for yourself." But Jacob said, "No, please. If I have now found favor in your sight, then receive my present from my hand. Inasmuch as I have seen your face, as though I have seen the face of God, and you are pleased with me. Please take my blessing that is brought to you, because God has dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough." So he urged, and he took it. Then Esau said, "Let us take our journey. Let us go, and I will go before you." But Jacob said to him, "My Lord knows that the children are weak, and the flocks and the herds which are nursing are with me. And if the man should drive them hard one day, all the flock will die. Please let my Lord go on ahead before his servant. I will lead on slowly at a pace which the livestock that go before me and the children are able to endure, until I come to my Lord and Seir." And Esau said, "Now let me leave with you some of my people who are with me." But he said, what need is there? Let me find favor in the sight of my Lord." So Esau returned that day on the way to Seir, and Jacob journeyed to Succoth, built himself a house, and made booths for his livestock. Therefore this place was named Succoth. And Jacob came safely to Shechem, which is the land of Canaan, where he had came from Paddan Aram, and he pitched his tent before the city. He bought the parcel of land where he had pitched his tent from the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. Then he erected an altar there and called it El Elho, Israel. Now Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she had borne to Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her and violated her. His soul was strongly attracted to Dinah, the daughter of Jacob. And he loved the young woman and spoke kindly to the young woman. So Shechem spoke to his father Hamor, saying, "Get me this young woman as a wife." And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah, his daughter. Now his sons were with his livestock in the field. So Jacob held his peace until they came. Then Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out to Jacob to speak with him. And the sons of Jacob came into the field when they heard it. And the men were grieved and very angry, because they had done a disgraceful thing in Israel by laying with Jacob's daughter, a thing which ought not be done. But Hamor spoke with them, saying, "The soul of my son Shechem longs for your daughter. Please give her to him as a wife, and make marriages with us. Give your daughters to us, and take our daughters to yourselves. You shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade in it, acquire possessions for yourself." Then Shechem said to his father and his brothers, "Let me find favor in your eyes, and whatever you say to me I will give. Ask me ever so much dowry and gift, and I will give according to what you say to me. But give me the young woman as a wife." But the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor his father, and spoke deceitfully, because he had defiled Dinah their sister. And they said to him, "We cannot do this thing to give our sister to one who is uncircumcised, for that would be a reproach to us. But on this condition we will consent to you. If you will become as we are, if every male of you is circumcised, then we will give our daughters to you, and we will take your daughters to us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people. But if you will not heed us and be circumcised, then we will take our daughters and be gone." And their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son. And the young men did not delay to do this thing, because he was delighted in Jacob's daughter. He was more honorable than all the household of his father. And Hamor and Shechem his son came to the gate of their city and spoke with the men of their city, saying, These men are at peace with us. Therefore let them dwell in the land and trade in it. For indeed the land is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters to us as wives. Let us give them our daughters. Only on this condition will the men consent to dwell with us, to be one people. If every male among us is circumcised, as they are circumcised, will not their livestock, their property, and other animals be ours? Only let us consent to them, and they will dwell with us. And all who went out to the gate of the city heeded Hamor and Shechem his son. Every male was circumcised, all who went out to the gate of the city. Now it came to pass on the third day, when they were in pain, that the two sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, each took a sword and came boldly upon the city, and killed all the males. And they killed Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah from Shechem's house, and went out. The sons of Jacob came upon the slain and plundered the city, because their sister had been defiled. Then they took sheep. They took their sheep, their oxen, and their donkeys, and what was in the city, and what was in the field, and all their wealth. And their little ones and their wives they took captive, and they plundered even all that was in the houses. Then Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, You have troubled me by making me obnoxious among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites, and since I have a few in number, they will gather themselves together against me and kill me. I shall be destroyed, my household and I. But they said, Should he treat our sister like a harlot? Then God said to Jacob, Arise and go to Bethel, and dwell there, and make an altar there to God, who appeared to you when you fled from the face of Esau your brother. And Jacob said to his household and to all who were with him, Put away the foreign gods that are among you. Purify yourselves. Change your garments. Then let us arise and go up to Bethel, and I will make an altar there to God, who answered me in the day of my distress, and has been with me in the way which I have gone. So they gave Jacob all the foreign gods which were in their hands, the earrings and which were in their ears, and Jacob hid them under the terebinth tree, which was by Shechem. So they gave Jacob, and they journeyed, and the terror of God was upon the cities that were all around them, and they did not pursue the sons of Jacob. So Jacob came to Luz, that is Bethel, which is in the land of the Canaan, and he and all the people who were with him. And they built an altar there, and called the place El Bethel, because there God appeared to him when he had fled to the face of his brother. Now Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died, and she was buried below Bethel under the terebinth tree. So the name of it was called Elon Bakoth. Then God appeared to Jacob again when he came to Padan Aram and blessed him. And God said to him, Your name is Jacob. Your name is Jacob. Your name shall not be called Jacob anymore, but Israel shall be your name. So he called his name Israel. Also God said to him, I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall proceed from you, and kings shall come from your body. And the land which I gave Abraham and Isaac I give to you, and to your descendants after you I give this land. And God went up from him in the place where he talked with him. So Jacob set a pillar in the place where he talked with him, a pillar of stone, and he poured a drink offering on it, and he poured oil on it. And Jacob called the name of the place where God spoke with him, Bethel. And they journeyed from Bethel. And when there was but a little distance to go to Ephrath, Rachel labored in childbirth, and she had a hard labor. Now it came to pass when she was in labor that the midwife said, Do not fear, you will have this son also. So it was, as her soul was departing, for she died, that she called his name Ben-Oni, but his father called him Benjamin. So Rachel died and was buried on the way to Ephrath, that is Bethlehem. And Jacob set a pillar on her grave, which is the pillar of Rachel's grave to this day. Then Israel journeyed and pitched his tent beyond the Tower of Eder. And it happened when Israel dwelt in that land that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard about it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12. The sons of Leah were Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel were Joseph and Benjamin. The sons of Bilhah, Rachel's maidservant, were Dan and Naphtali. The sons of Zilpah, Leah's maidservant, were Gad, Asher. These were the sons of Jacob who were born to him in Padan Haram. Then Jacob came to his father Isaac at Mamre. This is Kirjath Arba. This is Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac had dwelt. Now the days of Isaac were 180 years. So Isaac breathed his last and died, and was gathered to his people, being old and full of days, and his son Esau and Jacob buried him. Now this is the genealogy of Esau, who is Edom. Esau took his wives from the daughters of Canaan: Adah, the daughter of Elon the Hittite; Alhalabala, the daughter of the Anna, the daughter of Zebeon the Hivite. And Basmath, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nehobath. Now Adah bore Eliphaz to Esau, and Basmath bore Reuel, and Alhalabala bore Jehush, Jalam, and Korah. These were the sons of Esau who were born to him in the land of Canaan. Then Esau took his wives, his sons, his daughters, and all the persons of the household, his cattle and all his animals, and all his goods which he had gained in the land of Canaan, and went to the country away from the presence of his brother Jacob. For their possessions were too great for them to dwell together, and the land where they were strangers could not support them because of their livestock. So Esau dwelt in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. This is the genealogy of Esau, the father of the Edomites in the Mount Seir. These were the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz, the son of Adah, the wife of Esau, and Reuel, the son of Basemath, the wife of Esau. The sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, Gatam, and Kenaz. Now Timnah was the concubine of Eliphaz, Esau's son. She bore Amalek and Eliphaz. They were the sons of Adah, Esau's wife. These were the sons of Reuel: Nahath, Zahar, Shammah, and Mishah. These were the sons of Basemath, Esau's wife, and they were the sons of Aholibamah, Esau's wife, and the daughter of Anah, the daughters of Zibeon. And she bore to Esau Jehush, Jalam, and Korah. These were the chiefs of the sons of Esau, the sons of Eliphaz. The firstborn son of Esau were chief to Timon, chief Omar, chief Zepho, chief Zenaz, chief Korah, chief Gatam, chief Amalek. These were the chiefs of Eliphaz in the land of Edom. They were the sons of Adah. These were the sons of Reuel, Esau's son, chief Nahath, chief Zerah, chief Shammah, chief Mizah. These are the chiefs of Reuel in the land of Edom. These were the sons of Basemath, Esau's wife. And these were the sons of Aholibamah, Esau's wife, chief Joash, chief Jalam, and chief Korah. And these were the chiefs who descended from Aholibamah, Esau's wife, the daughter of Amnah. These were the son of Esau, who is Edom, and these were the chiefs. These were the sons of Seir, or the Horite, who inhabited the land: Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, and Dishon, Ezar, Dishon. These were the chiefs of the Horitites, the sons of Seir, the land of Edom. And the sons of Lotan were Hori, Haman. Lotan's sister was Timnah. These were the sons of Shobal: Alvan, Manath, Ebal, Shepho, and Onam. These were the sons of Zibeon, both Ajah and Anah. This was the Anah who found the water in the wilderness as he pastured the donkeys with his father Zibeon. These were the children of Anah and Dishon and Abolama, the daughter of Anah. These were the sons of Dishon: Hemdan, Ishman, Ithran, and Shiran. These were the sons of Ezar: Bilhan, Zavan, Akan. These were the sons of Dishon: Uz, and Aram. These were the chiefs of the Horites: chief Lotan, chief Shobal, chief Zibeon, chief Anah, chief Dishon, chief Izar, chief Dishon. These were the chiefs of the Horites, according to their chiefs in their land of Seir. Now these were the kings who reigned in the land of Edom before any king reigned over the children of Israel. Bela, the son of Beor, reigned in Edom, and the name of his city was Dinhabah. And when Bela died, Joban, the son of Zerah, and Bozran reigned in his place. When Jobab died, Husham of the land of the Temanites reigned in his place. And when Husham died, and Hadad, the son of Badab, who attacked the Midian in the field of Moab, reigned in his place, the name of the city was Avith. When Hadad died, Samlah of the Masrekah reigned in his place. And when Samlah died, Saul of Rehoboth by the river reigned in his place. When Saul died, Baal-Hanan, the son of Achbor, reigned in his place. And when Baal-Hanan, the son of Achbor, died, Hadar reigned in his place, and the name of the city was Pau. His wife's name was Mehetabel, the daughter of Madrid, the daughter of Mazabah. And these were the chiefs Esau named according to their families and their places by their names: Chief Nehemnah, Chief Alba, Chief Jetheth, Chief Abahalma, Chief Elah, Chief Pinion, Chief Kenaz, Chief Timah, Chief Milsbar, Chief Magdiel, Chief Iram. These were the chiefs of Edom according to their dwelling place in the land of their possessions. Esau was the father of the Edomites. Now Jacob dwelt in the land where his father was a stranger in the land of Canaan. This is the history of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brothers, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah, the sons of Zilpah, and his father's wives. And Joseph brought a bad report of them to his father. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age. Also, he made him a tunic of many colors. But when his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him and could not speak peaceably to him. Now Joseph had a dream, and he told his brothers that they hated and they hated him even more. So he said to them, "Please hear this dream which I have dreamed. There we were, binding sheaves in the field. Then behold, my sheep arose and stood upright. And indeed your sheep stood all around and bowed down to my sheep." And his brothers said to him, "Shall you indeed reign over us? Or shall you indeed have dominion over us?" So they hated him even more for his dreams and his words. Then he dreamed still another dream, and he told it to his brothers and said, "Look, I have dreamed another dream, and this time the sun, the moon, and the 11 stars bowed to me." And he told it to his father and his brothers. And his father rebuked him and said to him, "What is this dream you have dreamed? Shall your mother and I and your brothers indeed come and bow down to you onto the earth before you?" And his brothers envied him, but his father kept the matter in mind. So then his brothers went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. And Israel said to Joseph, Are not your brothers feeding the flock in Shechem? Come, I will send you to them." And he said, "Here I am." Then he said to them, "Perhaps go and see if it is well with your brothers and well with the flocks, and bring back word to me." So he sent him out to the valley of Hebron and went to Shechem. Now a certain man found him there. He was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, "What are you seeking?" And he said, "I am seeking my brothers. Tell me where they are feeding their flocks." And the man said, "They have departed from here, for I heard them say, 'Let us go to Dothan.'" So Joseph went after his brothers and found them in Dothan. Now when they saw him afar off, before he even came near, they conspired against him to kill him. Then they said to one another, "Look, this dreamer is coming. Come, therefore, let us kill him and cast him into some pit, and we shall say that wild beasts have devoured him. We shall see what will become of his dreams." But Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands and said, "Let us not kill him." And Reuben said to them, shed no blood, but cast him into the pit which is in the wilderness, and do not lay hand on him, that he might deliver him out of their hands and bring him back to his father. So it came to pass, when Joseph had come to his brothers, that they stripped Joseph his tunic, the tunic of many colors that was on him. Then they took him and cast him into the pit, and the pit was empty, and there was no water in it. Then they sat down to eat a meal, and they lifted their eyes and looked, and there was a company of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead with their camels, bearing spices, balm, and myrrh, on their way to carry them down to Egypt. And Joseph said to his brothers, What profit is there if we kill our brother and conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon them. For he is our brother and our flesh. And his brothers listened. Then the Midianite trader passed by. So the brothers pulled Joseph up and lifted him out of the pit and sold him to the Ishmaelites for 20 shekels of silver. Then they took Joseph to Egypt. Then Reuben returned to the pit, and indeed Joseph was not in the pit, and he tore his clothes. And he returned to his brothers and said, "The lad is no more, and I, where shall I go?" So they took Joseph's tunic, killed one of the goats, and dipped the tunic in the blood. And they sat the tunic of many colors, and they brought it to their father and said, "We have found this. Do you know whether it is your son's tunic or not?" And he recognized it and said, "It is my son's tunic. A wild beast has devoured him. Without doubt, Joseph is torn to pieces." Then Jacob tore his clothes, put sackcloth on his waist, and mourned for his son many days. And all his sons and all his daughters arose to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted and said, "For I shall go down into the grave to my son in mourning." Thus his father wept for him. Now the Midianites had sold him in Egypt to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh and a captain of the guard. And it came to pass at that time that Joseph departed from his brothers and visited a certain Adullamite, whose name was Hera. And Judah saw that their daughter was a certain Canaanite, whose daughter was Shua, and he married her and went into her. So she conceived and bore a son, and they called his name She conceived again and bore a son, and she called his name Onan. And she conceived yet again and bore a son, and called his name Shelah. And he was at Chezib when she bore him. Then Judah took a wife for her name was Tamar. But Judah's firstborn was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord killed him. And Judah said to Onan, "Go into your brother's wife and marry her, and raise up an heir for your brother." But Onan knew that the heir would not be his. And it came to pass, when he went into his brother's wife, that he admitted on the ground, lest he should give an heir to his brother. And that thing which he did displeased the Lord. Therefore he killed him also. Then Judah said to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, "Remain a widow in your father's house till my son Shelah is grown." For he said, "Lest he also die like his brothers." And Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house. Now in the process of time, the daughter of Shua, Judah's wife, died, and Judah was comforted. He went up to his sheep shearers at Timnah, and he and his friend Hira, the Edomite. And it was told Tamar, saying, "Look, your father-in-law is going up to Timnah to shear his sheep." She took off her widow's garments, covered herself with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in an open place which was on the way to Timnah. For she saw that Shelah was grown, and that she was not given to him as a wife. When Judah saw her, he thought she was a harlot, because she had covered her face. Then he turned to her by the way and said, "Please let me come in to you." For he did not know that she was his daughter-in-law. So she said, "What will you give me, that you may come in to me?" And he said, "I will send a young goat from the flock." So he said, "Will you give me a pledge till you send it?" Then he said, "What pledge shall I give you?" So she said, "Your signet and a cord, and your staff that is in your hand." Then he gave them to her, and he went into her, and she conceived by him. So she arose and went away, and laid aside her veil, and put on the garments of her widowhood. And Judah sent the goat by the hand of his friend the Edomite to receive his pledge from the woman's hand, but he did not find her. Then they asked the men that place, saying, "Where is the harlot who was openly by the roadside?" They said, "There was no harlot in this place." So he returned to Judah and said, "I cannot find her." Also the men of this place said that there was no harlot in this place. And Judah said, "Let her take them for herself, lest we be shamed. So I sent this goat, and you have not found her." And it came to pass about 3 months after that Judah was told, saying, "Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has played the harlot. Furthermore, she is with child by harlotry." So Judah said, "Bring her out and let her be burned." So she was brought out. She sent to her father-in-law, saying, by the man of whom these belong, I am a child. And she said, please determine whose these are, the signet and cord and the staff. So Judah acknowledged them and said, she has been more righteous than I, because I did not give her to Shelah, my son, and he never knew her again. Now it came to pass at that time for giving birth that, behold, twins were born. And so it was when she was giving birth that the one put out his hand, and the midwife took a scarlet thread and bound it on his hand, saying, this one came out first. Then it happened as he drew back his hand that his brother came out unexpectedly. And she said, how did you break through? This breach be upon you. Therefore his name was called Perez. After his brother came out, who had the scarlet thread on his hand, his name was called Zerah. Now Joseph had been taken down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him from the Ishmaelites who had taken him down there. The Lord was with Joseph, and he was a successful man. He was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all he did prosper in his hand. So Joseph found favor in his sight, and served him. Then he made him an overseer of the house, and all that he had put under his authority. So it was from that time that he made him an overseer of his house, and that all he had, the Lord had blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. And the blessing of the Lord was on all that he had in the house of the field. Thus he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, that he did not know what to expect, did not know what he had except for the bread which he ate. Now Joseph was handsome in form and appearance. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast longing eyes on Joseph. And she said, lie with me. But he refused and said to his master's wife, look, my master does not know what is with me in the house, and he has committed all that he has to my hand. There is no one greater in this house than I, nor has he kept back anything from me but you, because you are his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? So it was, as she spoke to Joseph day by day, that he did not heed her, to lie with her, or to be with her. But it happened about this time when Joseph went into the house to do his work, and none of the men of the house was inside. And she caught him by the garment, saying, lie with me. But he left his garment in her hand, and fled and ran outside. So it was, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and fled outside, that she called to the men of her house and spoke to them, saying, see, he has brought into us a Hebrew to mock us. He came into me to lie with me, and cried out with a loud voice. And it happened, when he heard that I lifted my voice and cried out, that he left his garment with me and fled out. So he fled and went outside. So he kept his garment with her until his master came home. Then she spoke to him with words like these, saying, the Hebrew servant of whom you brought to us came in to me to mock me. So it happened, as I lifted my voice and cried out, that he outside. So it was, when his master heard the words which his wife spoke to him, saying, your servant did to me after this manner, that his anger was aroused. Then Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, place where the king's prisoners were confined, and he was there in the prison. But the Lord was with Joseph, and showed him mercy, and he gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners who were in the prison. Whatever they did there, it was his doing. The keeper of the prison did not look into anything that was under Joseph's authority, because the Lord was with him, and whatever he did, the Lord made it prosper. Boom. Genesis, what did we read? 27 through 39. So today took about an hour. Like I said, 45 minutes to an hour, 90 days. You get the Bible read. You can dedicate 45 minutes to an hour to the Lord a day. You could read the Bible in 90 days. And a lot of believers have never read the Bible once. It blows me away. But we can scroll on our phones for 4 or 5 hours. So I'm just demonstrating every day. I'm going to be on here at 9 in the morning. I'm going to read the Bible 45 minutes to an hour every day. We're going to get on here and we're going to read the Bible in 90 days. So thank you guys for being on. Like I said, tonight, Bible study. If you want to get connected, what we're doing at Lost and Found Ministries, shoot me a message and we'll get you connected to the live stream for tonight for Bible study. So God bless you guys and thank you for being on.